Premier Doug Ford thanking the former minister online as well, saying, "Thank you, Steve Clark, for your years of service in cabinet. As Ontario grows, our government is on a mission to build at least 1.5 million homes. After decades of inaction, we're seeing real results. 2022 and 2021 had the most housing starts in 30 years. Our work won't stop." Joining us now is John Fraser, Ontario Interim Liberal leader. John, first of all, welcome. Let's start with your reaction to this.
Well, he did the right thing, and this is just the first step. So what needs to happen now is the Premier needs to open the books and waive cabinet privilege. We've called for a committee meeting this week to start the process of looking at what's happened here. With each passing day, there's a new revelation that, makes it evident that all roads lead back to the Premier's office on this $8.3 billion Greenbelt giveaway.
Now, after Clark had announced he wouldn't be resigning last week, was this an expected change here?
Yeah, no, myself personally, I expected Mr. Clark to resign. It wasn't sustainable. He brought something to cabinet that he knew was wrong. He did that with full knowledge of what he was doing, and for that he needed to resign.
So now, what is going to happen from here?
Well, like I say, the Premier needs to open the books. He needs to waive cabinet privilege. We need to get to the bottom of this. I mean, we have the Premier, the Minister's Chief of Staff was appointed by the Premier's office. The Premier's former executive assistant is working with Mr. X, who is an unregistered lobbyist, to crack open the Greenbelt. So it's just all too close. So we need to open the books. The Premier needs to do that. He needs to do that now.
Do you think that's something that the Premier is going to do?
Not right away, but we'll get to the bottom of this. I think they're going to resist, like Mr. Clark resisted resigning. The reality is this is an $8.3 billion cash for your land scheme. And it's going to take some time. We're going to be persistent. I know all opposition parties are going to be persistent with this because it's not right. It was unfair to Ontarians, unfair to future generations, and we need to get to the bottom of this.
How much responsibility in this do you think the Premier has?
I think the Premier has a lot of responsibility. When Minister Clark brought that proposal to Cabinet, the Premier was supporting that proposal at Cabinet too. I mean, he knew what he was doing. And so he shares responsibility in this equally with Minister Clark. And to do the right thing for the Premier is to open the books. Tell us what happened. Waive cabinet privilege. Tell us what happened to Cabinet. How did this thing happen? It's incredible. Did nobody ask any questions at Cabinet? They're going to resist telling us what happened. But we're all going to have to work hard every day just to make sure that the government, the Premier, come clean on this. Tell us what happened.
When the Premier says he simply, dotted some I's, crossed some T's on this, didn't really have much knowledge of what was going on, what do you make of that? Do you think something that is correct?
I don't believe that. In any event, the Premier has a responsibility to the people of Ontario. He supported this proposal at Cabinet that he knew was wrong, right? And he knew it was wrong to support it. He asked Cabinet to support it. And so that's wrong. And the Premier needs to own up, fess up to it. You can't just say, I knew nothing. I mean, it's too cute. It's just too cute by half. And so the Premier has been very involved in the Greenbelt. Premier is committed in past to developers. I'm going to crack open the Greenbelt. So in some ways, this is no surprise.
All right, we will have to leave it there. That is our time. John Fraser, Ontario Interim Liberal leader, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your thoughts on this.
Thanks, Renee. Take care.
You too.